this is a whole process that we're going to go through now.
This is like just useful for just anyone in any industry. I mean, the big mistake that happened this year is
one of my favorite stories.
One of my least favorite stories.
We're basically learning from each iteration that we're doing and trying to improve and make it better.
It was the most bizarre situation I think I've ever been in.
Guess who's back for Aircon 26
by popular demand.
Hey, I'm Greg, and do I say my last name?
I don't think you need to. You can do, hey, I'm Greg, and here's two men named Lewis, like in the IT crowd.
Sure. We're going to talk about the Airwiggles Audio Conference. For anyone who doesn't know what Airwiggles is, it's a community platform for audio creatives. And we have built a pretty big online conference now, which is all about game audio, film audio, and other creative audio disciplines. And today we want to really talk about how we make all of this happen on a year-by-year basis. This is going to be our 4th year, so not our first rodeo. And I think it's time to reveal a little bit more about the process behind all of this and how much work and effort goes into it. I want to figure out what kind of graphics we want. And then we want to make a website launch page as well for Airwiggles. Mm-hmm. So why are we doing all of this, and how did AirCon come to be in the first place?
That's a good question. You know, I often ask myself why I'm doing this when it's like 2 a.m. and I'm like writing emails to speakers, and it's, the reason I think is simple. It's we think that the audio industry is better when it's accessible, when knowledge is accessible, when you can connect with people. Ultimately, Aircon and Airwiggles and Game While You're Learning and all these kind of different projects we kind of do in our spare time, it's just to make audio as accessible to everybody as possible. And I love going to conferences, but I can't go to them all the time because I can't get to America easily. I might not be available to buy a ticket for a developed conference, etc. So having a conference which is entirely online, so no matter where you are in the world, you can attend it. Having all the talks be recorded, available free afterwards, so if you miss the live streams, you can still attend them anyway. And having it be free for everyone lowers the barriers to entry for anyone in audio. And hopefully it means as we keep doing it year after year, more and more people will get into audio. Yeah,
and we started this now 4 years ago. This is going to be the 4th edition of Aircon, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And we started off with the idea of it would be a month of AMAs, Ask Me Anything.
It was going to be a month. I completely forgot about it.
It was going to be a month.
I remember it was eventually 2 weeks, and that was long, but we were going to do 4 weeks straight of conferences.
And it was obviously going to be called AM May.
We do love a pun, don't we? We've kind of trapped ourselves with Aircon because Airwiggles itself is a bit of a joke because sound is wiggly air. We'll call it Airwiggles, and then it's like, what would we call Airwiggles Audio Conference? Aircon. It's in summer. It's cool. Aircon. There was a process. We're here now. It's too late to go back.
And I guess AudioCon was taken or something. I don't know. But and so we wanted to do a month of AMAs. Then we came to our senses and said, hey, let's actually maybe do some talks. We emailed loads of people and got some pretty incredible guests together. And then we did 2 weeks of talks, which is pretty insane in retrospect. Mm-hmm. The next year, we shortened it, but it was still, I think, between 5 and 7 days. I can't even remember.
Yeah, I need to check, to be honest, but it was busy.
Last year, it was... we had 100 speakers, we had 63 talks or live events, and we had 6 days, I think.
It was 7 days
was
straight.
Was it 7 days?
Talks, yeah.
Oh my God, okay. Yeah. It was 7 days of talks. So this year we have iterated again and are making it a little bit shorter. We have new talk formats. We have like short 25-minute talks as well as the hour length now, but we're basically learning from each iteration that we're doing and trying to improve and make it better. And we're going to go into a lot of these different learnings and how everything comes to be. But it's quite fun to look back and see the evolution of it. The big question now is, when does all of this start? Because this is a whole process that we're going to go through now. When does the process for the planning start?
Yeah. Let's see. Well, it's currently April. Aircon starts in about 1 month from when we're recording this right now. Last Aircon finished last June, and I would say we were doing it pretty hard from like October. We were working on stuff. We had about 3 months where we had a bit of a break.
Yeah.
By a break, I mean we ran another contest instead, but a break from specifically conferences. In all seriousness, like it is a constant thing, but I would say for me personally, with Aircon always being in the summer, like from January, it is all I'm doing with my spare time. I'll still make time to see friends and do other things, but like every spare evening and weekend I have, it's like, right, I'm behind. I've got to get this conference planned for 6 months. So it's a lot of work. And that's just me. We have loads more people on the team as well who we'll go into in this talk as well. Part of the work is also making sure we can future-proof all the stuff we're doing, because we want to keep doing Aircon every year. And we've done so much work this year, especially building systems. So next year, we don't have to spend as much time doing it. What we do, however, is that because we free up our time by building all these new systems, we fill the time doing extra systems to make it bigger. And we need to stop doing that. We need to stop doing more stuff each year. Let's just get into a flow first, and then we'll expand.
How do we get better and better every year?
Exactly. It's just, it must get bigger and better. And it's just so hard because we're all like this. We all want everything to be as good as possible. We're such perfectionists. When we get an idea, we run with it, and it's really hard to stop us in all aspects of our lives, really. And so every time we have a free moment, we're like, oh, let's do this then. For example, we have a free moment on Friday night. Let's record an entire freaking video studio in my front room. We could be in Pop World, but no, we're here.
What's probably useful to add as well is that the people who are behind all of this, which is myself, Lewis, Johnny, Sergio, Mia, Helly, Asbjørn, and a couple of other volunteers who help out now and then again. All of us are full-time in other audio professions, which basically means we do this in our free time as a hobby. So basically, to sum up, the planning starts about 2-3 months after the last conference. And the first thing that we do is we figure out a format, the dates, what are our time slots, stuff like that. What are the colors of the conference?
That's a big
the
one.
design.
We have orange this year, repped by Greg. Last year was pink. What you got on? White. You know what? First year was white, so technically we're getting
and then we had blue in there as well.
Yeah.
So once we've established those things, the next part is then we usually start to do our sponsor preparations, because we need sponsors. Why do we need sponsors? Well, this stuff costs money, and we need resources to run all of this.
Yes, the thing is, with Aircon, it's like, it's cheaper than running an actual in-person conference because we don't have to have any bookings or venues. But there's quite a lot of website fees behind the scenes, and then every year we need more and more just random little purchases. But the website fees are the main one, and without sponsors, we would not be able to do it, quite frankly, because we would be very far in the hole.
Yep.
So finding sponsors is very important for us because it's the only way we can keep the tickets free. And I think tickets being free is the whole point of a conference. I wouldn't really want to do it if we're charging money for tickets. So sponsors literally make Aircon happen.
It's really important to have them. And the other thing is, of course, is we always put together a huge amount of raffle prizes through the sponsors, where we're able to basically just give away tons of cool stuff to people who attend and help share and help out as well during the conference.
Well, this is the thing, right? You mentioned like how we start Aircon each year, and sponsors, because of this, has to be the first thing we do, because if we can't fund everything, there's no point planning it. Something we kind of did wrong the first few years of doing Aircon is that we kind of planned everything. Then we asked for, we kept pushing back our sponsor pitch decks and everything a bit too late. And so we were asking sponsors to sign up for something which is happening in basically a month or less. And we found over the years, that's not ideal, because people, companies need to work out if they can afford it, if it was in the budgets. And so really we need to be getting sponsorships locked about 8-9 months before the conference, really. And so, that's the first thing we do. Once Aircon is finished this 1 year, is just whipping up a sponsorship pitch deck to explain to sponsors what we're doing, the benefits, how they can get involved with different tiers and options they can join us with, and getting that ready. We finish around June, ideally before October, really, to give them lots of time before the year ends to decide if they can commit to this or not.
Yeah. And so the process is, as Lewis said, build a pitch, this in itself is quite the task, as we found out, and we've refined it over the years now.
We needed to learn how to pitch because, like, none of us really have any business backgrounds, or to be honest, any business running interest. Like, we like doing sound design and music. Like, that's what we enjoy. We enjoy, having this community with all these amazing people on it. But as it's just grown so big over the last couple of years without us really expecting it, like, we've had to start looking into this more businessy, sponsory side of it. And it's difficult. Like, I didn't know how to put a pitch deck together for a sponsor. It's never been something I've been interested in doing, but we have to learn to keep it sustainable. So it's been a big learning experience. And I like to think our current one is pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too. And the interesting thing as well is with all this sponsorship stuff is so much is just having relationships with the right people and being able to help them understand what our goals are and what we're trying to do. And then once we've kind of done that, it's pretty simple, because then we know the people at the various companies and can kind of get on a call with them and say, hey, we're doing this again this year. It's going to look like this. Would you be keen to support us again?
I totally agree. I remember both of us, when we first started, like, a sound effect was like such a big website for us for finding libraries and all the blog posts we did, and it was what a resource it was. And now we
still is.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, yeah, of course.
Retake that.
For us, as juniors, it was an amazing resource. And now we work closely with Asbjorn, as Asbjorn Anderson, and Sound Effect is like our main partner. We even have a sound effect under our logo on the website, because he's given us so much support over the years.
Yeah, and we have to, I think this is a cool thing as well, is by us kind of learning as we're doing and being able to speak with all these different people, that in itself has been a huge education. And being on calls with Asbjorn and getting his advice, or getting other marketing representatives' advice, literally asking companies like, what do you value? What do you want to get out of this? In today's episode of Wiggly Boys Do Some Work.
Name pending.
Yeah, we're looking at the Aircon sponsorship landing page. Then at the first Aircon submission form, we've talked about how we're going to organize all of our areas and business infrastructure and all that fun. It's getting there. So we've done the sponsorship, we've created the pitch decks, we're now getting involved in trying to lock in the various different companies as sponsors. While this process is going on, Lewis is working
You put me to work.
on the talk submission form, and
Yeah.
That's a huge part of it.
actually one of the most important parts.
What we found, the very first year we did Aircon, we emailed a handful of people, a lot of people to be fair. It was all very just ad hoc organisation. People said they could do it, we gave them a time, they did it. Now we have to fit people into a schedule. We need all the information early so we can plan around it, because we need to consider, right, let's say, sorry, I'm going to be on a massive tangent, but I'm just going to go for it. First off, you said a minute ago, amount of days we're going to cover. This is the first thing we have to pick. This year we've gone for 3 days. Last year we did 7 days, and it was, we just think too much. Like, it's one of those tricky things where, because it's online and because we have so many people interested in speaking, really we can make Aircon as big as there are speakers. Like, with enough planning and enough graphics made and set up and paying for add-ons, etc., we could make Aircon, 2-3 weeks long in if we wanted. But it's just too much. It's too much work for us, but also it's too much work for the audience to attend that many talks. Like, it's just impossible. Like what we found last year we had 7 days of really tight talks, no gaps, speaking up most of the day. But we were doing 10, 12-hour days doing talks. We were knackered by day 2. But it's equally time for the audience to be able to absorb that much knowledge for a week straight. It was just too long. And so this year we decided, let's make it shorter. Let's keep it just more bite-sized information for the audience so they can actually attend and process it all, as opposed to kind of joining and being like, this is overwhelming, there's too much. So we had a shorter conference, which with a tighter schedule, which meant it was even harder to get all these people into an even tighter schedule. So what we need to consider is, first off, speakers are based all over the world. Some of them can't do weekends, some of them can't do before certain times. Because of time zones especially, people in America can't do our early mornings, people in Australia can't do our late evenings. So making sure everyone can tell us their available time zones based on where they are and what days of the week it is, essential. And it's like a jigsaw puzzle putting them together afterwards. Other things we need to consider, though, is that we need to make sure we have a nice variance of actual talk topics. We don't want to have, officially we're all about audio for media. That's film audio, game audio, audio for podcasts. That includes music, sound design, dialogue as well. So you want to have a fair coverage of all of this. Mostly game audio, because that's what most of our user base is. But we wanted to make sure we had a nice variety of talks there as well. We want to have diversity in terms of a background of the speakers and where they're all from. Something that we try to do every year, or at least have been doing in the last couple of years, is we're trying to have diversity in our speakers that mirrors the diversity of English-speaking countries, because it's an English-speaking conference. So we're aiming for half men, half women, and we have a bunch of stats we've got behind the scenes of diversity stats we're trying to aim for. And so that's another thing we really consider. We don't want to have a conference of just most of our talk submissions are from straight white men. We don't want to have that, though. Like, we want to kind of be the change we want to see in the industry. And so there's all these different factors that go into making the schedule. And so we need to collect all this information, and we need to be able to then, when it comes to the actual schedule selection, to have all this information on hand. Because if we're trying to chase 150 speakers who submitted through our form, what times they can they do this time? Can they do this topic? Can they do this long? Like, it's impossible to organize. So yes, our submission form, as you said, very crucial to get right first time, because you can't really edit it afterwards. You can't add in some fields halfway through, because everyone that submitted a form at the start, or submitted a talk at the start, they can't go back and retroactively add it. So getting the talk submission perfect and getting information like all the contact emails, we need their time zones, we need their backgrounds, their companies, their talk titles, their talk descriptions, because we need to use that to add to the site. We need them to have accounts on Airwiggles for all the tech stuff. We need to know if they're on Mac, if they're on Windows, if they're sharing their screen, sharing their audio, if it needs to be mono or stereo. There's so many things we need to know from these speakers. And so trying to get them to go through all this information in a easy to understand way is very difficult. So yes, long roundabout way of saying the speaker submission form takes a long time to set up each year. And luckily we can kind of take last year's one and make some more tweaks now. But it's a big form. It's got conditional formatting. If you tick certain boxes, it brings up other questions. This is all stuff that I had no idea you could do with Google, but now we do. And we've learned that Google Forms is a hell of a tool.
My favourite, it was a small mistake. It didn't go public, but it was the description of the talk. And there was a bug with the form, and essentially it was like you had to do exactly 1,000 characters, no more, no less for the description.
Yeah, that was not ideal. And these are things that when you're testing it out and setting up, you just don't notice. It's only until you press go live and you send it to thousands of people, someone lets you know. I mean, the big mistake that happened this year is
one of my favorite stories.
One of my least favorite stories. I'm going to preface this with I was doing some Christmas shopping. It was around Christmas time. We always tried to get our talk submission form up by January. And I was working late at night, so that's more of the story is don't work late at night when you're tired. And I was doing some Christmas shopping, and then I was like, okay, now I'm ready to do the submission form. And I had made a big Airwiggles post. I posted in the announcement space, which emails all of our members, all 8,000 members, the submission forms now open. Click this button and submit a talk for AirCon.
And you scheduled it for the morning for 9 a.m.
That's
and
right.
You were like, hey, let me know if it comes through. And I think you were still asleep at 9 a.m. And I opened my emails and I looked and I thought, wow, great. Looks fantastic. Let me click this link to see if the form works as it should, which it probably will.
Why wouldn't it?
Yeah, and,
end of story.
And it opens a new tab with a link to some very nice shoes. And I thought, how did that happen? So I went back to the form, clicked again, and the same thing happened, and my heart dropped, and I panicked, messaged you, called you, was like, why is the submit your aircon talk a link to shoe.com? And then I went on the announcement site.
That's a good question.
Really quickly.
Why is it a link to shoe.com?
Changed the link back to the proper link, submitted it, and then funnily enough, we got a bunch of our friends to open it. And I changed this link within 3 minutes of it sending out. So some people got the shoe link, others got the proper link.
You can check yourself. If you're an Airwiggles member before Christmas 2025, check your emails around December about there being a submission form. Click the button, and if it links you to some shoes, then you're one of the lucky few that got the rare shoe button.
A shoe link.
Yeah.
The amount of people that messaged me that day being like, Lewis, I think Airwiggles have been hacked. It's like, this button's directing to a link to buy some shoes. I'm like, oh, I know. It's okay, we fixed it. It's just me being stupid, that's all.
It's quite a scary thing though, having to press the send all button.
It's terrifying.
A lot with the research.
And you know what? I've done a lot of those posts that send notifications to lots of members when we're doing big events and conferences. It never gets less scary. Or when you do a mail merge email and it's going to automate an email and you press the button just hoping it doesn't attach your name to some random nonsense to everyone you know. So it is scary.
Yeah, we've had also things land in people's spam inboxes, which is also scary because if we're sending them important information about their talks and it never gets to them and we don't have any alternate way of contacting them, that's tricky. So once we're finished with the form, we then market it, get it out to loads of people, and also we do have some studios that we tend to email for games or films that have recently come out to see if they want to share some of their work, because that's usually the best period in time when it's fresh off the press.
So this outreach stage I like to talk about because last year especially, we just spent I might have spent hours and hours and hours, days, weeks finding people online in various communities or networking websites and forums and organizations and trying to find people to reach out to. So sending them a little message saying, would you be interested in doing a talk at this conference? This year, admittedly, because it's a smaller talk and we have all these connections already, we could use these tools like, Gmass or Google Mail, etc., to kind of ping people who've already spoke at the conference and be like, would you like to speak again? And do you have any friends who would like to also speak? Also, when we post announcements on Airwiggles that the talk was going out, when I post a link to some shoes, lots of people then see it naturally online, and it's something because we have a bigger community now and we have more followers on LinkedIn and we have more people using Airwiggles. It's easier, and it's going to get easier and easier for us to find speakers. So that's one of the ways we've managed to free up some time this year. With smaller talks in a bigger community, a lot less time spent on the initial outreach stage, which took up way more time the first few years because we were just a smaller community and we had more talks to fill. My plan is February, talk submissions in, and then March would be confirming everybody's time slots, getting them to confirm the actual involvement, putting together all the panels, moderators, interviews, etc. And only then can we start actually doing any marketing, because we'll need all that stuff done beforehand, really.
While this is going on as well, we have started to, I think last year was the first year where we've basically started to co-organize in-person meetups all around the world. And the idea was to have the conference online and then a day where everyone around the world in their local communities can meet up and celebrate in person.
The solution we're trying to achieve with this is an online conference is great for a few reasons, because it's accessible, it's free, you can attend it from anywhere. However, as we all know, going to real life conferences, the best part, in my opinion, is meeting people and connecting with your local community and chatting to people you've not met before. And yes, we did try doing some online meetups and stuff online with Airwiggles Audio Conference in the past. Never were that popular though. I think people are a little bit more anxious about joining a big kind of video call with lots of people. It's scary.
Different. I mean, it's really difficult because you can't really have more than one person talking.
Exactly.
And it's more difficult to speak one-on-one, and how does it work? So we've had solutions where there's proximity video chats, but even that, we just tend to have clusters of groups.
So our idea this year, I mean, we did it a little bit last year, but we've been pushing it this year, is a worldwide meetup, having in-person meetups on the same day, on Sunday the 24th, the day after the conference ends, in as many cities as possible. And a massive shout out to Sabrina Fidele, who has a Discord group where local game audio community organizes kind of meetup chat, and being able to connect with these organizers gave us a massive start in finding lots of meetups. And then once we kind of got a few on the map and like published, more and more people have been asking us to get involved. And I think as of right now, I think we've got 21 meetups locked, and I think we've got about another 7 or 8 like very nearly locked, which is insane to me that we have meetups happening in countries I've never been to, in continents I've never been to, all over the world on the same day. I cannot wait to see how many people go to each one. I'm very excited to see the photos from everybody's meetups. And I'm just excited for people in another continent to, maybe make a friend or a networking connection, like, because of this conference we've done. It's amazing to think how much of an outreach like Aircon's having now compared to like the first couple of years where it felt a little bit more UK based. Now it really feels like it's taken over the world.
It feels that it truly now has a significant impact from both knowledge perspective, being able to share all of this, but also facilitating connections and platforming people who would have otherwise maybe not had the chance to, from various backgrounds and places. And it's really cool to see and to hear that come back to us. And we do get messages occasionally from people telling us about various success stories of someone they'd met through an event or through the platform itself, through Airwiggles and various things like that. And I think that's really what stokes the fires inside of us to keep going and to put in all the hard work.
It's my favorite thing about everything we're doing is when we get a message or an email from someone just saying like, when I discovered Airwiggles, I wasn't really in the industry or was still learning. And now because of these resources, or thanks to some help from these resources or these people that I've met, they've managed to do something that they've always wanted. And it just warms my heart every time I see that. And it's like, this is why we do it. It brings so much joy.
Right? It's changing people's like entire careers.
100%. And it's funny because like, so it can be such a little thing that like spirals into what is essentially like a life change. Like me and Greg met at a networking event. And so the idea that at any of these meetups, 2 people can meet that become really good friends and they can work together and they can build something, and they like, so much of my life has changed because of me and Greg. Even before that, just like getting work in the industry, I got through networking events. And yeah, it's the fact that maybe some people can use some of these little bits that we've put together to help them on their journey together is the best feeling ever.
On the actual organizing the event side, obviously there's also a bunch of stuff connected to that where we have to reach out to the various local community organizers, and then you create tons of amazing graphics.
Yeah, I'll get into the graphics later. That's a hell of a job.
Yeah, lots of in terms of just the back and forth trying to schedule.
And a huge shout out, by the way. We started, like me and you started with these events planning, but it very quickly became spiraled out of control. There's everything we do with Airwiggles does. But Mia Singer has basically taken up the meetup organizing and ran with it, and she's been getting so many more meetups for us. So yeah, without Mia, we'd be on maybe 10 meetups.
Yeah.
So she's more than doubled the amount we're having. So yeah, big shout outs to Mia. Thank you for that.
Yeah, she's been doing such a great job. Speaking of amazing community organizers and people, we also have our Airwiggles Awards, which has been an addition of last year. And the idea of that was to highlight and celebrate members of the community who have put a lot of themselves into it.
The categories we have for the awards ceremony isn't things like, the best game audio, the best film audio, like the other traditional categories. We want to celebrate people in the community for the industries doing the work they're doing. So celebrating people who do good content creation, people that like are really active in the community, giving people free resources, connecting people, giving them free stuff or free resources. People that run meetups and events and conferences and do all this work. Like it's so much work. Hopefully it's just a little way we can kind of like give back to all these amazing people for the amount of work it takes to keep the audio community as amazing as it is. Like everyone I speak to, like in games but not in audio, is very jealous of how lovely the audio community specifically is. I don't know why or how we are so amazing, but everyone's just so nice. And people just put in so much work and effort for the benefit of the community, and loads of the time for free as well. So it's like, yeah, hopefully some of these people can win some sick prizes and they'll feel a little bit better.
And once again, I mean, the companies that support it, it's awesome because we're just like, we would love to give these people some neat prizes, and they are completely down and are happy to help out. So once again, shout out to our incredible sponsors, and it feels great to be able to give all these things to people. We can quickly go into some of the things that it takes to organize this. So we have to find the nominees, which is basically creating a whole list and figuring out who should be nominated.
So difficult, by the way.
Very difficult.
We do put out like a public, call for nominees like a few weeks before we kind of like make our decisions. But yeah, as you said, we have 7 categories, 5 people each, so that's picking 35 people out of the 8,000 people that are in the community.
And then there's a lot of graphic creation.
Yeah, that's one of just the areas of Aircon and Airwiggles, but mainly Aircon, which is just so much more work than I think anyone, including me, like really realizes, because I always think, I can make some graphics of this, and then I'm doing it at like 2 a.m. like, oh my God, this is tedious. But admittedly, I'm not a graphic designer, right? I work in Keynote, which is like the macOS version of PowerPoint, because I started doing some graphics, like I made the Airwiggles logo on Keynote, and then I kind of did a few other things. I just started using it more and more and more and more, and all of a sudden, I don't know how to use anything else. And when Aircon comes knocking, I've got a system, the time it would take me to learn Affinity from scratch and do it all again, I can't justify it. I need to just keep churning out Keynote templates. The graphics is what, in my opinion, makes Aircon like look a little bit more professional. There's a few reasons. A, we need it to kind of pop when you're scrolling through on LinkedIn and whatever. We want people to find out about Aircon. We want people to know about Aircon. We'll get into the marketing and everything that goes into this a bit later, but like for graphics making, we need it to be clear what it is, because we're trying to get a lot of information across. Oh, Aircon, short for Airwiggles Audio Conference. Airwiggles is a sound thing, obviously. It's a conference. It's free. It's online. It's happening from these days. It's all recorded. There's talks about this thing, that thing. Like, we have these sponsors as well. Like, this is a lot of stuff we're trying to get into all these different graphics. So making them clean, organized, making them pop so they stand out on LinkedIn, making it look consistent with all our branding and our theming. And then, again, like, because we don't really have a massive marketing budget to, buy out ads on every website, etc. Most of our marketing comes from people sharing stuff on social media. And so what I try to do is make graphics people would look good enough that we want to share them. So for example, for the awards, we make all these graphics with like their faces and they're saying, oh, I've been nominated for this award. So people can like post it online proudly and be like, look, this is how cool is this? Same with all the speaker graphics, all the talks, all the schedules. We want people to share them, post them on social media, so people outside of our community can see what we're doing and they can still benefit from all the stuff we're doing and join all the talks. Because again, it's all free, open to everybody. We just want people to see it. So yeah, marketing is just such a huge task for Aircon, because we put in so much work organizing it. If we didn't market it, no one would watch it. Like, we need to get the information out there so people can actually join in and partake. People that don't know what Airwiggles is are going to struggle finding like what's a very big resource full of free stuff. So yeah. Graphic design, there's a lot of it that has to be done. Videos too. We've not even got videos on this list, have we? I completely forgot about that.
Fish. It's like that Sisyphus rock.
Yeah,
it's like something with marketing and graphics. It's just a constant cycle.
Yeah, and there's so many. This is like just useful for just anyone in any industry, but like the rules of what sticks out in social media. There's so many tips and tricks I've learned over the years, like not too much text, for instance, bright colors. With videos, it's like, unfortunately, I don't like doing it, but recording yourself speaking into a camera is so much better for retention. Pictures of people get so much more retention and people clicking and looking at what you're doing. And so for like the trailer for Aircon we do, for example, it's got my old face in it, shouting at the camera saying, you should sign up for this thing.
I think it's like 3 years old as well.
Yeah. This year I tried to overdub it with my new video recording and you all said I had out of sync vocals, so I had to redo it again. Oh, and I'm colorblind, so all my graphics look terrible until they get someone to look over them. Like, I keep color grading myself incorrectly, like I'm bright red, because I'm like, yeah, let's get it nice and saturated. And then Lewis and Greg are like, Lewis, you look like you've been holding your breath for like 4 years.
Lewis is colour grading. We'll do it post.
Yeah, so there's just like, again, so much to learn. Like, I think video editing and graphic design are useful skills. Like, I've actually, just on a personal level, like, I got into designing the website for Soundcuts, the company that we all worked for in a day. And I only got into that because I've been doing so much graphic design for Airwiggles and all the video design, etc. So like, we're really upskilling all this stuff, but it's a lot of time dedicated to just doing graphics and videos year after year after year. You get better and better. But admittedly, because I'm not like training myself professionally, like I have a lot of bad habits, such as color grading and
saving themes in 20 files and then 100 different
working in Keynote. I'm also really bad at saving. Like, I think that's like, in general, I'm really bad at like pressing Control S or whatever.
That's like a reflex to me.
I sometimes spend like I'll start working, on the Saturday morning on a video, and I'll leave my computer on till Sunday afternoon in an untitled session, not saved. It's like, if this crashed, I would cry.
That's the most unhinged thing.
I need to learn.
All of aircon resides on you not saving right now.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, I think the upskilling is definitely one of the exciting parts. I have learned a lot about communication, how to...
Yeah, right. Just like how to effectively get across all this information when we're asking speakers to volunteer, we're asking audience members to join in and attend a live stream. They need to know where to find them, when they are, what they're about. Do we need an account? If they do, there's so much information to get across to people that when you're trying to do this on a mass scale, we've really realized that when you're not 100% clear, but also 100% simple with like how you're portraying anything online, like people are just going to not understand you, or they're going to misinterpret what you're saying. There's always going to be the case of that happening, but like I think that's really valuable just in my day-to-day life. Like whenever I'm doing any messaging now, whether it's at work, sending an email, anything, it's like I know that if 1,000 people read what I'm about to write, how many are going to understand like what my true intent is and what I want them to do, or what I need from them, or what, etc.
Yeah, and things also like speaking confidently in front of people at a meetup.
You'll get there one day, mate. Don't worry.
I think I will.
Other things such as I've also learned a lot about finance, managing finances, and cash flows.
We don't get involved
doing
in that.
Doing the accounts and taxes and all of that.
Yeah.
Limited company paperwork and such.
If the IRS is after us, it's all this guy. Just please, we had nothing to do with it.
The IRS is American.
That's how little I know about it.
HMRC is who you have to be worried about.
I'm so glad you're not in charge of our finances.
They all say IRS in the movies. I just thought that applied to everyone.
Nope. It's been incredibly educational to do all of these things. I want to highlight some spreadsheet magic here by Lewis.
I'm a genius.
So this has the speakers on it, the
speakers,
talk title.
The talk title. We
What
got
else?
their availability, because obviously the time slots are all locked. These people can do these times, etc. And we got whether they're doing a live interview or they want to do a live interview. We've got whether they can moderate a panel or an interview. And we got all their panel topics that they might want to be involved with. So yeah, we're still making the spreadsheet. It's taken a few hours so far, but when we have the spreadsheet, sheets will be spread.
Now we have received all of our speaker submissions.
Yeah.
And it's time
we got
to
pick
put
our schedule.
together the schedule, exactly. So what happens now? We have had approximately 150 submissions this year, is that correct?
This year, but we had to get it down to, initially it was 24 slots. So that's what 1 in 6 people who submitted will get a talk, which is, I mean, I'm flattered at the amount of submissions we had. Like, it's awesome, and it made the submission picking process so much better. I'm so
submissions as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Like this year in particular, we were looking at ones you weren't submitting. Like, how are we not picking this? Mm-hmm. And then we tried to fit it in. We were like, I don't see where it fits for various reasons. Whether it's we had too many talks on a certain topic, or we had people that just like weren't that available with our time slots, so we couldn't match them all in at the same time. There's maybe some required a bit more work on our side, so we thought we can't stretch yourself too thin. It was so hard. We could have probably doubled the length of the conference this year. But luckily this year, our counterpoint was like some talks we've made a bit shorter, so we can fit 2 in per like hour and 15 rather than 1. So trying to make it quicker, we can fit more in. It's more engaging, entertaining as well. But yeah, it does mean we're going to have to be tighter with our scheduling, and less room for error if anything goes wrong on the day. Yeah. So that's the risk we've decided to take. Why? well, I guess next year when doing this video, we can be like, why the hell did we do that?
And obviously, actually, this is something that it's not in our notes, but we're now doing test streams with speakers. So we want to make sure that, again, they feel comfortable. And so we just arrange a date and time with them, go through everything, make sure to test the audio, the screen sharing, how everything works so that they're confident on the day. And we also get to know them. And this is another part, what's really, really cool is we get to basically meet all of these incredible audio professionals.
From around the world.
Exactly.
How cool is that?
Yeah. So it's a really cool opportunity for us really to network, basically, and make new friends, which is awesome.
Yeah, just like the personal benefits we've had from doing this, just the amount of amazing people we've met, things you've learned, like it's been great. I wasn't expecting to just have so much good stuff come into my life and my career because of Airwiggles, but it's been great.
So once we've decided the schedule, we then email a lot of speakers again.
Well, to be fair, I don't think we really decided how we decided the schedule. Like, I remember when we initially went through our list, because we all jumped on a call together at one point. It was a long call. I remember it being a very long one. And we went through all of the talk submissions we had. And our first thought was, right, okay, for now, let's just go through them and pick out the ones we definitely want. And then we'll go through the rest and work out, like, you know, who should fill the gaps with. And then our list of definitely wants was like twice as many as we could possibly fit. Yeah. So I was like, this is a problem. And then, but afterwards, we kind of decided, like, on our own personal kind of like ranking of these ones would be great to have, these would be nice to have, this would be great if you can fit them in, this would be good if we have this talk to complement it, etc. We got a little bit stuck at one point, and something we did for the first time this year, which we need to do every year moving on, is that I made like another Google form. I love a Google form. And I sent it to a bunch of people I know personally, just like very brief, unbiased descriptions of each talk. Like, for example, a talk about field recording, a talk about animal recording, etc. And they could all rate them all unbiased on 1 to 10. It was all completely anonymous, and we didn't share it with the speakers. But for us, it helped us realize, people more interested in this than I maybe thought, or maybe we overrated the interest of this one. And we use that again to help decide who we pick for our schedule. And I think
that was a really good resource. That gives you a perspective on everything, because obviously we've been looking at these for a long time.
It's one of those things that I'm surprised we didn't start earlier. And it's not even just like losing perspective. It's just there's some things that I'm more interested in than most people, or I'm less interested in most people. And so it was actually kind of silly of me and us to think, we'll just decide we know best. Like some of the community voted talks, very different to what we had in mind. And so I'm really proud we were able to implement some of that into our schedule. And I suppose it's basically the start of us having a board of directors or a board of people who select.
Yeah, and we do have the Airwiggles Senate at the minute. I air quote it, but it's literally called the Airwiggles Senate. And they're a group of people who are very active on Airwiggles.
And just people we can trust, you know.
Exactly.
People we know, we're friends with, we trust their judgment. A nice mix of people as well from different countries, working different fields. Yeah,
different backgrounds. And so they help us with a number of decisions.
Anyway, back when we had our schedule picked and like our rankings with our favourites and the Senate's favourites, I remember then spending time, I did this by myself one evening, which was trying to fit our favourites into a schedule. And that is impossible. It's like, imagine Jigsaw puzzle, but also like most of the pieces fit with most other pieces. But there's like one combination where they all fit because of the time zones. This year we're trying to make it so like the sound design talks are grouped, the game audio talks are grouped, the music talks are grouped. So if you're interested in music, you've got a stretch of talks you can go to as opposed to like one every day at different times. And trying to get all that in one schedule. And then you think you've got it locked. And then you find out one person maybe put in the wrong time, or they have to change something, or they can't do it. It's like, okay, if one person drops out of this schedule, to fill it again, we have to move everything around to make it fit, because you take one person out, the only one that can fill this one goes in this one, but that has to be next to this one. It's insane how difficult it is.
It just goes to stress the form that you were talking about earlier with all these particular things that you had to fill out, how much of a knock-on effect it has if it's not filled in correctly. Like
exactly,
how much of a problem it becomes when you're trying to make the schedule.
Like if people fill out the form and they maybe don't understand how time zones work, for instance, like we give all the times in UTC, and I send a link to like a time zone converter. But if someone let's just say, is reading quickly because it's a lot of pages, I don't blame them. But if someone fills it out incorrectly, and then we find out like 3 months later when we're locking in a final schedule, it changes everything. Like but it's partly self-inflicted because in theory, if we had a dropout, we could just not have anyone, or we could do multiple talks at once. But we decided not to do that because we don't want to split like the views. We don't want people to go to one talk, not to another talk. It's not like in a real in-person conference where, you know, there's a cap on the number of people in a room. In theory, if we had 2 talks at once, one could have 1,000 viewers, one could have 1 viewer, and I wouldn't feel happy doing that. I would like to have them all split out because people sometimes go to a talk not expecting to enjoy it as much as they did. So I don't want to give people the chance to not go to some of these amazing talks from these amazing people. And there was cases this year where, like, because one person couldn't do a talk, another person had to drop out the talk because I couldn't work out how to fit them in, which is a real shame, but it's just like, it comes down to the finest margins. So if you're watching this thinking, I wish Lewis picked my talk, I'm really sorry, but it was so hard to fit you all in. Like, it's impossible to fit everybody in, unfortunately, which is a real shame. And that's my least favorite part about the entire conference, is sending an email to everybody saying we can't pick a talk because they've spent time on the forum, they put together a great idea, some people had the talk ready to go. I wish we could have featured it during the conference, but it's just unviable, and I'm so sorry that it has to come to that, and I hate having to reject so many people.
Yeah.
I remember when we spoke to Brian Schmidt from Game SoundCon, exactly the same thing. His least favourite part is saying people that they can't do it.
So, we've done the schedule. Mm-hmm. It's all locked.
We've emailed them all.
We've emailed them.
Another bunch of like 50 emails.
Yep.
They've all responded and said yes.
In the meantime, while this is happening, we're also creating the newest edition of the conference, which is a landing page.
Yeah, a whole new website.
So this is something we didn't have last year, or
It was in the
any
scope, wasn't it,
previous.
if I remember rightly? We were trying to scope for it, but it was difficult.
It was, and we did have a full interactive lineup, I think either last year or the year before.
That was 2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, on Game Audio Learning, which was not that easy to navigate. So this year we decided we want to really have one place where people can go to, where they find all the information, they find the full schedule, they find all the meetups, all of the raffle prizes, they can see who's supporting the conference, who our sponsors are, and who all the speakers are.
This landing page, I think it's great. If you didn't know, aircon26.com, it's just like a one-stop website, easy to remember with everything you need. I love how it looks, it's great. And I have to say, it couldn't be done without Greg. You were so... You did such a good job directing Lewis. No, obviously Lewis. Obviously Lewis, like, that was all you. And without you, it would not be done.
Banner at the top, followed by the information and trailer, or trailer and then information.
Information. Actually, I do it side by side. I don't think the trailer needs to be that big.
Yeah, I agree.
So yeah, both at once.
Okay, so basically...
We put a lot of thought, I remember, into just like the order of information, because to someone that is interested in audio but has never heard of Airwiggles, Aircon, an idea of an online conference, there's a lot to get across quite quickly. And so like I think you've done a really good job formatting it in a way where someone completely new can kind of get a feel for what's actually happening quickly. Because I think it's very easy to not really understand what this is. So yeah, you did a great job.
We've done our schedule, we've done our website. This is now in real time. We've hit the marketing phase. So we're doing this right now. This includes things like making the trailer, making a bunch of videos like this one, this is obviously not just a marketing video, but this is part of our marketing, absolutely. Making a ton of graphics, writing a bunch of posts, reaching out to places such as universities, lots of different media sites and stuff like that, putting together paid ads that we have on places like Reddit or LinkedIn, and figuring out how we can creatively promote this and get it in front of as many people as possible. And so this is something that we can always use help with.
I find it super interesting for marketing. We have a very specific target audience of just people that work or want to work in audio. Finding ways where we can get the stuff in front of these people who we don't know or haven't met before, and it may be in slightly adjacent industries to the ones that we work in. That's our challenge, and we could take any help we can get with sharing the word about Aircon out there for people.
Oh, look at this guy, so cute. Oh, yo. The last thing that happens before the conference is that we have these cool t-shirts on.
Oh yeah.
So this
one's
is
from
the
last year.
Aircon 26 edition, in fact.
It's the Yam Gang, we call it, because the colour on the website is yam. And I like that we all have matching yam shirts. Yeah.
And so Lewis in the white shirt.
Well, that's a great way to
That's
differentiate
good,
this,
yeah.
actually, yeah.
You have to always be wearing white though.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Is the you're basically the shop guy, the merch guy,
The
so to
shopkeeper,
speak.
yeah.
The shopkeeper.
Yes.
And with our merch, we've also learned a bunch, made some mistakes. We had really crappy garments the first couple of years.
You put them in a wash and they just shrink like 3 sizes.
And we realized, like, we don't enjoy wearing this stuff. It's terrible. And so then Lewis went on the hunt.
Before we had the original shop, we were using another service where they can provide these like the shirts for you, and they were all essentially printed on the shirt. So after like 5 or 6 washes, you just noticed that the logo itself would just fade away, and that's not really great. So we went through a whole iteration of finding a new supplier through the new website that we've got, and we went through all these different options, looked at all the reviews, got a few test samples in, and just checked them ourselves and thought, what are we actually going to wear? What will people who buy this actually be proud wearing? So we found like the best quality shirts that we could, and these are, I think you'll find really, really good. This was one of the first ones we did, and I'm still wearing it to this day. It's great. So we've kind of gone for the majority of stuff. I think all of it is embroidered because it's just going to last and it looks better. And we keep margins super, super low on these. So we're making barely any money on them. We want this to be as affordable for everyone so that people can just enjoy what they wear and express their enjoyment for audio with t-shirts and silly little designs that we make. So that's just a quick rundown on the shop. And it's not really a for-profit thing. It's just there to kind of balance itself and be a resource for people too.
The profit for me is the enjoyment of seeing someone wearing a shirt that I designed. I'm like, what is happening?
It's so fun. We've got a lot of different designs. We try and do like a new season every year or something, but it varies depending on how busy we are and what other things we've got going on. So any ideas you've got, send them our way.
If anyone fall on us. But this is a very popular angle for
Yeah, it's actually quite
for
cool,
the
yeah.
type of YouTubers that I watch.
I like it. It's like
And then they cut it so that they're like, I'm working in this position, then I'm working in that position.
Yeah,
Now I'm like
sure.
pacing back and forth with a coffee and speaking to you and doing this. It's more, it's not that it's difficult, it's just time consuming.
I don't know if you saw this thing I added. Add Aircon to your calendar. You click it, it like makes a thing for you to add a reminder to.
Huh.
Should we have that like on here somewhere?
Might be good. Also, would it be worth, as Asbjørn said, putting the dates up here or something? We've reached the conference now.
Yes.
Have we? Oh, how long have we been doing this for?
It's been a 30-day recording.
It sure feels like it. God knows what it's like to watch.
During the conference, we've got our opening ceremony that we prep for and then do a little speech. Then we're basically in all of the streams or all of the live events with the speakers, making sure that we help them set up. And this year as well, we'll do the outros. Then we also do a bunch of our own panels, or previously this year, we're actually not doing that much.
Yeah.
I think
One each.
Yeah, one each, which is great because
I'll take
previously
it.
it's been a lot more, and so now with
Wasn't the
Different
first
schedules.
year, didn't you do like 6 interviews?
I did a bunch of interviews, yeah.
Yeah, that was
And,
mistake number 1.
I'm very happy not to be doing that again because I love talking to people, but I also during the conference really enjoy just listening and
Well, this is-
being in the background.
This is part of it. Like, first year we did Aircon, I wanted to do more public speaking.
Yeah.
So I gave myself a talk. Second and third year, it was like, yeah, this is cool. I'm enjoying this now. Let's do more public speaking. I'll do some more panels, more talks, etc. Now I'm like, I'm done. I like public speaking, but I need the break. Like, I can just be on one of the back scenes. I host a panel here or there because no one else can. But apart from that, like, I'm coasting.
You're enjoying the conference. as expected.
I will be behind the camera this time.
Yeah, indeed. And then, of course, we have our awards ceremony at the end as well that we do, which is great. So during the conference, it's all pretty streamlined in terms of our days. We get up, eat food, do the conference, and go to sleep and repeat. pretty much.
I remember 2 years ago for Aircon 24. I love the story, honestly. But it's just so surreal. I want to say it was 5 days we did for Aircon 24 because I think it was Monday to Friday, and but it was funny. But it was long days. I think we were awake and streaming from 9 a.m. to about 2 a.m. every day. And one of the days had a 4 a.m. talk for us in our time anyway. I remember, all this prep, 6 months of work, starting for Monday. And on the Sunday night, my girlfriend at the time brought home a live cockerel that she rescued from someone she worked with because it was going to be sent to the slaughter. And I was like, yeah, sure, of course, let's save it. But I was like, she had a home lined up for it. It fell through in the car. She had to take it home. Imagine trying to present a conference about audio production for media, and every 5 minutes from the bathroom next to you, you hear go, 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 go. Consistently. We had to keep this thing in the bathroom because I've got pet birds and we couldn't keep them in the same room. So the entire conference, or at least the first 4 days of it at least, I couldn't use a bathroom in my own house. I couldn't shower because if I went in the bathroom, the cockerel started attacking me. I'm working super late, trying to get a bit of sleep to get up for a 4 a.m. talk, and whilst you're sleeping, go, 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 go. It was the most bizarre situation I think I've ever been in.
Was it not going off just at the mornings?
I thought that they only do it in the morning. No, they do it like clockwork. I even tried using kitchen foil to tape the windows shut to make the cockerel think it was nighttime. Didn't work. His internal body clock just on point. Fair play to him. See, that was just an utterly bizarre interaction, and I couldn't believe. But rest assured, we found him a home. He's called Kevin, and he's living there now on a field, strutting his stuff, being as loud as he likes. I lived in the middle of a city, by the way, as well. I lived in a block of flats. Somehow my neighbours didn't comment about it. I don't think they knew it was me that had the cockerel. This year, I hope that won't happen.
Well,
we'll see.
Me and Greg have got a big surprise for you.
We've sourced Kevin. He's had babies.
Guess who's back for Aircon 26?
By popular demand.
Oh dear. Hello, Kevin. You okay? Having a good time in here? What a cutie.
And then, of course, after the conference, we've got the Meetup day. So this is great fun. This is one of my favorite days of the entire year.
It is my favorite day.
We get to go to the venue a bit early, meet up with a bunch of our friends.
Everyone that comes from far away, we meet up with as well. So people that have travelled from other countries, we'll spend the day with and have some, more one-on-one time. Then by the evening, everyone's here. We have 100 people, 150 people this year. We can just chat to. It's such a stressful time running the conference because of all the things that could go wrong and monitoring everything, and sit back in a room of 100 people all having a good time, chatting to each other. It's just we did it. Success. We made it. And you can really, that feeling of all that work and all that risk with the live streams of it, what if it goes wrong? What if everything breaks? Be able to sit there and see what you've done in person.
And that basically concludes the conference, but we're not done here. After the conference, that's
when the real work starts.
There's a lot of work to do because we have to deliver all the prizes. Mm-hmm. We send out thank you emails.
The raffle, right? We have to do a whole raffle stream.
Yes, we do a raffle where we give away loads of amazing prizes. Then we write our wrap-up posts, we look at all the analytics and put all those stats together. We have to upload all the talks on YouTube and make sure that they get the intros, cut them, all of that, trim the starts and the ends, stuff like that. And then we tend to do a post-mortem to figure out what went well, what didn't, and how can we make next year's conference even better. Then we're done for 3 months until it all starts again. I think that's a wrap.
Yeah, come to Aircon 26.
It'll be great.
Thanks for watching.
Peace out.